Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you all for coming.
You had some bother you.
On a little lighter note, I just want to get this out of the way now. Go Broncos. The Broncos got Russell Wilson. The AFC West is ours. I know. Mom was a big Denver Broncos fan, and that will live on through me. You will hear it a lot if you talk to me. So, go Broncos. On a more serious note, as you can imagine, this is not easy for me, so please bear with me. My grandpa used to tell me, life is a gift, and what you do with your time here is your gift back. If that's true, then Mom was the world's biggest gift. She lived a beautiful life. She was the most giving, positive, kind-hearted person that I know. In the darkest times when the world seemed to be cloudy, there she was, a beacon of brightness, always shining, always lighting up the world around her with her smile. Oh, that smile. Judging from the nodding heads I see in front of me, it seems like you all agree. Mom was born Alicia D. Simpkins on September 22nd, 1966, in Grand Junction, Colorado. She was the eldest daughter of Dale V. Simpkins and Marilyn K. Simpkins. Grandpa Dale was a captain in the Army at the time, deployed in the Dominican Republic. So Grandma was at home with her parents on the Decker Peach Farm. Mom lived her entire childhood as an Army brat, living in 13 different places before she graduated high school. She always said that she loved it and had favorite memories of all the places that she lived. But Palisade, her birthplace, was always her happy place. She would spend summers with great-grandma and grandpa on the farm, driving tractors, picking peaches, swimming in the irrigation ditches, and translating for the Hispanic workers in her broken Spanish while eating their good food. Her and her family would take trips to the cabin on Sunset Lake to fish and adventure on the Grand Mesa. Mom always said she was an adventurous little girl and was used to playing and being on her own, until she was 8. And her twin brothers, Jamie and Alan, were born. Even though there was such a large age gap, she loved her brothers and loved being the big sister. When Mom was in middle school, Grandpa Dale took a command position at Schofield on Oahu, and Mom went to Lelehua High School. She always talked about how formative that time in Hawaii was, and how much she and her family loved being stationed there. They even spent some time visiting Molokai, staying at Wave Crest, which at the time, Dad was a groundskeeper at Wave Crest, but they never crossed paths. Mom played sports and used to always talk about how it was tough being the blonde, blue-eyed Howley girl on the softball team and having to prove herself on and off the field to these big, scary kiddos. But Mom was the toughest person around and proved herself on and off the softball field. So much that she said after that, nobody ever picked on her and bullied on her again because all of her friends were now the big, scary kiddos. Right before Mom's senior year of high school, Grandpa Dale got reassigned to San Antonio, Texas. So Mom didn't technically graduate from Lelehua, but she always said that she did in her heart. After high school, Mom went to the University of Texas in Austin, studying geology. She said she had big plans to go work on oil rigs and become a millionaire with a peach farm. She loved living in Austin because it was such a fun town, and the music scene was made for her. Mom loved music, especially 70s and 80s rock and roll. She always proudly considered herself as a headbanger. Her and Dad's record collection is lit. They've always had high-quality sound systems set up in all the places that they live. Some of our favorite memories of Mom is putting on Boston, turning up the volume all the way up, and dancing around doing the rock and roll headbang, her blonde hair flying all over the place. Surprisingly enough, she also was into Snoop Dogg. And always said, I never know what he's saying, but his voice is just so smooth, Snoop D-O-double-G. And I think that's a perfect example about how Mom loved to love. No matter what it was or how different a thing might be, if she loved it, she loved it. Let's talk about Dad's first time seeing Mom and meeting her. Dad lived in an apartment in Austin, Texas, just working and living his life. In Mom's junior year of college, she moved into the bottom floor of the same apartment building right below Dad. One day, Dad was leaving his room to go somewhere and walks outside. Coincidentally, Mom walks out below him at the exact same time. To this day, Dad still thinks that she planned that. While she was walking to her car, Dad noticed that she had a Hawaii t-shirt on and said, "Hey, I like your shirt." Mom replies, "Thanks, I used to live there," and talked on and on about how she loved Hawaii. She even said, "Dad, if you ever get a chance to go, you should go to Molokai." "I love Molokai so much, it's the best island ever." Smiling, Dad said, "Oh yeah? Where did you stay on Molokai?" Mom answered, "This small tiny place called Wavecrest." "Why? Where are you from?" Dad answers, "Hawaii." Mom goes, "Oh really? What island?" Laughing, Dad said, "Molokai." And that's how they met. After being intrigued by her blue eyes, Dad asked her out on a date. A couple days later, Dad picked her up in his old Volkswagen. She was wearing a form-fitting purple dress and looked as beautiful as ever. Dad ended up taking her to eat dinner at a restaurant. After a successful date, on the drive home, Dad's car dies. This is the first date now. Pulling off to the side of the road and the wave of embarrassment flustering Dad, she looks at Dad and says, "What's wrong?" He looks over to Mom and says, "I ran out of gas." Her response was, Yeah, right, just start the car and take me home," thinking it was one of Dad's smooth moves. Dad goes, "No, I really ran out of gas. If you want to, you can sit in the driver's seat and steer while I push." Mom goes, "No, I'm gonna get out and help you push." She gets out, takes her pretty heels off, her silk stockings off, and in her nice purple dress, bare feet, helps Dad push his car to the nearest gas station on the first date. That's the kind of woman that she was, and Dad was in love. As things got a little more serious, Dad realized he had feelings for this woman. However, it was Dad's plan to move back to Molokai one day and grow his planted roots, and didn't want to date long distance. Dad respected this woman so much that he didn't want to put her through that, knowing what a long distance relationship does, and tried to break up with her. That did not go well. Mom went on a 5-minute tirade, refusing to break up, and how they were going to find a way to make it work. In that moment, seeing her optimism, positivity, and dedication, Dad knew that she was the one. So, of course, she and Dad dated long distance, which before cell phones and internet and social media meant that they were recording cassette tapes and mailing them back and forth to each other.
Aww.
Ayla asked Dad once how he knew that he wanted to marry Mom. And Dad said, "Because I missed her when she wasn't with me. And I want..." Sorry.
Okay.
"I wanted to be with her all the time. And when I wasn't with her, I missed her like crazy." So Dad took all the money he had, every last dime he had, bought a round trip plane ticket back to Austin, and with the leftover money he had, he went to Zales and asked to get a ring with whatever amount he had left. Dad went back to Texas and proposed. In December of 1988, Mom graduated from the University of Texas with a degree in geology. Yep, rocks. She loved rocks. Looking at rocks, talking about rocks, touching rocks. We would be on road trips and she'd be pointing out different mountain formations and be going on and on about rocks. I was like, "Mom, just take me to a playground already." But here's the thing. She was so excited to marry her Molokai boy that she didn't even walk with her class when graduating from college. A month later, on January 7th, 1989, in Palisade, Colorado, Alicia Simpkins became the wife of Dave and Daniel Bicoy. Some of you here attended that wedding and can attest that it was a party. Around this time, Mom went through RCIA classes with Dad and dedicated herself to God through the Catholic faith. She always stated that Grandma Bicoy was her main influence in doing this because of the fearless and loving heart Grandma always carried herself with. Mom started to attend church with Dad and was baptized Catholic in 1988. Alicia and Dathan Bicoy moved back to Hawaii in 1990 to start their new life together. They lived in a small apartment on Oahu in Nuuanu Punch Bowl. Dad worked for Barrett, a civil engineering consulting firm, starting off as a design engineer, while Mom worked for a lab building testing nuclear operations. On June 4th, 1990, Alicia became Mom. Ayla Rosalyn Bicoy was born at Queens Medical Center on Oahu. After Ayla was born, Mom and newborn Ayla moved home to Molokai to stay with the grandpa and grandma on the East End. Dad stayed on Oahu to get his professional engineering, his PE, and commuted back and forth. After getting his PE, Dad scored a job with Goodfellow Brothers Incorporated on Molokai in the spring of 1991. He then permanently moved home with Mom and Ayla. Mom and Dad bought a piece of land on Molokai in Covelo. In late 1991, that's when she became a DIY construction worker and a home builder. Together, they cleared their new property and started to build their first house in 1992. Not too long after that, Donna Shemay Paulo was born right in the middle of the building process. Mom would be in work clothes and boots while building a house, taking moments to stop and breastfeed Shemay, laying her to sleep wrapped in a towel on a stack of sheetrock. In between the house and kids, Mom took night classes at MCC to get her professional rehabbing certificate. Sometimes having to breastfeed Shemay during class. Nothing stopped that woman. Then, Mom became a teacher teaching earth science at Molokai High School, where she got to know a lot of the families in the community through her students. She left teaching at 28 and became a full-time stay-at-home mom. In 1996, pregnant with soon-to-be Christina Donetti, Dad was in the yard weed whacking one day and broke a PVC pipe. Trying to fix it, he shuts the water off to the house. While digging, Ayla cutely comes trotting out of the house up to Dad in the pink little blue skirt holding a stuffed animal saying, "Daddy, Mommy says the water broke." Dad answered, "Okay, honey, go back in the house and tell your mom I know, okay?" Cute little Ayla saying, "Okay, Daddy." Skips back into the house. A minute goes by and here comes Ayla skipping out again. "Daddy, Mommy says the water is broken." Fed up, Dad sternly answers, "I know! Go back in the house and tell Mommy I'm trying to fix it." Cute Ayla says, "Okay, Daddy," and skips back in. Another minute goes by and here comes Mom, furious as ever. "Dathan, Daniel, Bicoy! My water broke!" "Oh, get in the car, dude, get in the car. A few hours later, the world was blessed with Christina. That same year, Mom and Dad built a civil engineering company called Apex Engineering, and Mom became an engineering designer and business manager while still somehow being an incredible mother, wife, and homemaker. Apex was a huge success. In 1998, the last but certainly not least child was only boy, Dathan Deckerly Bicoy, me, was born. And when Dad got his son, that's when Mom said, "Okay, enough kids already." Our family still traveled to the mainland to see Mom's family and lived the Colorado peach farm and left. Mom taught us to love Colorado and the Decker Peach Farm and the cabin that her grandfather built on the mesa. Now it's a happy place for all of us, and we all have a strong connection to our mainland family and roots. In 2002, Mom and Dad bought their dream property in Mana'e, sold the Covella property, then rented a room at Wavecrest and lived there working and taking care of the kids while we cleared the lot and built our current house. In the spring of '04, Mom and Dad moved us out of the Wavecrest into Grandma and Grandma's house to get through the final leg of the building process. Mom became a construction worker and a home builder again. While raising 4 kids and getting them through school at Kilohana, the middle school, Aka'ula, high school, Mom was extremely involved in the community. In countless ways, With schools, fundraising events, sports, church, you name it. She was one of those active moms. Mom was also a religious education teacher at the St. Damien Parish. In 2012, the Colorado girl turned wife, turned mom, turned active mom, became a fighter. I remember that conversation of the news being broken to us all too vividly. I'm sure we all do. She was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, and from that point on, her life was changed forever. Hopefully you've had a chance to read her cancer fight in her own words in the book that's outside. Mom became an inspiration, helping others in their fights. Mom always showed incredible strength, positivity, and optimism. No matter what the scan showed or what the doctor said, she refused to surrender any control over her life. She would always say that the cancer wasn't anything but an intruder. She called it the beast. She always used to say, the beast is not going to beat me, kids, don't worry. The beast required power, and she refused to give it any. She controlled every part of her mind, spirit, emotions, and heart, and would always find the positive thing in all of the madness. She was so incredibly solid in her faith. She did not shake nor break in any of the sense or have any sense of fear in the face of something so devastating. It was always, let's do this. What's the next step? What can I do? 11 whole years of it. And within those 11 years, she did everything she could to not only beat it herself, but to help others beat cancers of their own. She got heavily involved in events, Relay for Life's funds, awareness programs, donations, you name it, she was there. While I was playing football in high school, she would donate pink merchandise to the team for all the players and staff to wear on game days, like socks and helmet stickers. She quickly became a source of motivation and purpose to play our hardest to win. Nobody wanted to let her down. But that's who she was. It was amazing to see people rally for her, fight for her, support her, making it a point to make her proud and not disappoint her. It was amazing. I have endless stories and moments and memories of people showing their support for her or coming up to me and talking about her, how she was an inspiration, a light, how people would see her always with a smile on her face and brighten their day. And that is the thing about beauty. That is the thing about beauty. The luscious blonde hair can fall out from chemo. The flawless, pure skin can be riddled with scars from surgeries and radiation. And your body figure can be warped by the beast. But one thing that can't ever change is what's inside. That is true beauty. And God, wasn't she beautiful? In 2018, Mom became grandma. Frederica Reed was born into the world, and she demanded that her treatment schedule be changed so that she could fly to Las Vegas to be with Ayla for a few weeks. Ayla says that it was one of the most special times with Mom, and one of the times that she felt closest to her. Ayla says it was incredible to see Mom be present and help her with her own oldest daughter grow into a mother of her own. Recently, on April 9th, 2022, Mom became a mother-in-law to her second son-in-law. First, it was Eric Reed with Ayla, then it was Curtis Nims with Christina. Shortly after that period of joy, Mom was admitted into Queens again, but this time it was different. There was a rapid decline in her health over the course of weeks. Or maybe it was a rapid increase in God's calling. Whichever it was, nobody wanted to open that door to the thought of time's running out. I was fortunate enough to fly to Oahu to spend some time with her in Queens, courtesy of my godmother, Auntie Gina. Thank you, Auntie Gina. In those last days I had with her, despite the previous 11 years of fighting, I was able to see the true fight that woman had in her. With all the bad news, the bad scans, bad this, bad that, the pain, everything seeming to be coming down on her at one time, there was really nothing good to grasp onto. But there she was, still fighting, still not budging, still pushing back, still going at it head on, still keeping faith. It was just remarkable. It's indescribable. Soon enough, the real world kicked back in, and I had to go back to California. Seeing her face for the last time with a smile on it, laying on that bed, carrying, "Love you, son," as I turned and left the hospital room, was one of the hardest moments of my life. Nobody wants to be the one to open that door to negative thought. But somehow, I knew deep down that was the last time. And that was hard. Sorry. On May 17th, 2022, God called Mama home. And there is zero doubt in my heart that heaven gained another precious, beautiful, strong, happy, loving soul. Mom always used to tell me, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. So I challenge all of you here today, I challenge all of you to focus on your next step forward. I challenge you to look your beast in the face and refuse to give it power. I challenge you to always find something that is positive in your madness. Alicia, Mom, is proof that there is always something positive. I challenge you to never lose faith, and when all seems lost, smile.
Amen.
Just as Mom did. God bless.
Amen.